What's going on, everyone? We're back, Talkin Hands live, previewing UFC on ESPN. Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier. I'm your host, Preston Echdal, as always, joined by my co-host, Slaughterhouse1 on Twitter. Jeff Slaughter, how are we doing tonight?
What's up, everybody out there? We're doing good. We're back, and we're ready to try to make some money on another tough card.
Yeah, pretty short card, 10 fights, so not a whole lot to...
Two cancellations and another slip-in fighter with the short notice. So
Yeah, just like last week, so...
not much on that, but we'll have to bypass that fight and just keep plugging away.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the card was last week. Oh, Blades won last week. That's who won.
Pretty rough card too. I didn't think it was that good and very entertaining card.
Yeah,
at least.
the only good fight was
the Burgos
versus Emmett. Yeah,
I love that fight, but the only thing that sucked was the Blades. He couldn't finish inside the distance. He didn't look as impressive as I thought he would.
No, yeah, he should have gotten him out of there. The first two rounds, he really took him down, hit him with some elbows, then kind of slowed up and gassed out near the end of that fight. But yeah, so we're moving on here to UFC Vegas 4, Dan Hooker, Dustin Poirier. We'll begin here. Fight one, I believe, is Youssef Zalal versus Jordan Griffin.
Yep, Youssef Zalal on. So we're using mybookie.ag. If y'all guys go to mybookie.ag, sign up, use our promo code PubSports. You'll get bonuses. They'll match your bonus, your deposits, and all kinds of good stuff. So we're gonna use their lines, anyways. So starting off with Jordan Griffin comes in at even money. Youssef is minus 130. Jordan's even money. Over and under 2.5. Over minus 160. Under plus 130. Preston, what do you got here?
Over 2.5 minus 160.
Over 2.5. Where was that? Did I read the wrong line? I lost it already. Overs minus 160.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That seems pretty good to me. So Youssef Zalal, his first fight, he beat a decently ranked, like acclaimed prospect in Austin Lingo in Texas here, UFC 247 back in February. He was really good movement. Lingo just couldn't get a hold of him. He had, like I said, very good movement, almost Dominic Cruz like. His jabbing, low kicks, leg kicks. But this is, his second fight, so he's still relatively fresh. He's in here pretty tough against Jordan Griffin. Griffin had good wrestling and good subs. But he's had fights where, I don't know, he seems to kind of, I don't want to say gas out, but like he doesn't fight smart. He's like pretty reckless. He's not like jab, like straights. He's kind of all over the place, but he's a tough guy to get out. But I think he'll have a slight advantage on the ground. I believe Youssef Zalal has more of a range, more kicking, more strikes, and I'm going to take Zalal via decision.
Yeah, this is kind of tough for me. I think it's a little bit closer, maybe even a pick'em kind of fight. Youssef, man, he does have some great kicks. He's not the best in the striking department, from what I can tell, but his kicks are fantastic. He uses a lot of quick kicks, and I think he is by far the superior wrestler here. Now we all know Griffin's pretty dangerous from his sub. He's a good jiu-jitsu guy, can get people out with subs. He's not very explosive like Youssef. Youssef's very quick, very explosive. He's the better athlete by far. Griffin, to me, he's probably the better boxer. Good grappler, good all-around MMA guy, has great experience. And that experience, I feel like, could will him to a victory here. But I'm going to go with Youssef just for the younger, quicker, hungrier guy. I mean, I think he can. I think with his wrestling advantage, he can get double, single legs all day and take Griffin down, keep the fight there. And I don't think he'll get the sub, but he has a sick guillotine. He always attacks that thing on the ground, and he's always going to fight from his back. If Griffin goes for the attack, Youssef has a good choke from the front. So it's a tough matchup, man. I think it's very close. So I'm going to go Youssef by decision.
Okay, yeah, so we're in agreement there. We move on to a women's fight that does not have a replacement, although kind of a late notice fight added on. Jin Yu Frey takes on Kay Hansen. Both fighters are in their debut here on this card.
Yep. So Hansen comes in as the favorite, minus 170. Frey is plus 140. Over and under 2.5. Over minus 305. Under plus 245. I'll go ahead and take this. I love Hansen in this fight. Hansen, to me, she's not that great striking game. She's not going to throw a lot of kicks, but she's straight to the point. She likes to wrestle. She likes to get on the ground. She's going to be the bigger girl, the heavier of the two. Once she can get you on the ground, which she will, because she's pretty relentless in taking it there. She basically uses her striking and combos just as a distraction to kind of get herself able to shoot, take down people down to the ground. Once she's down there, man, she's heavy on the ground. She likes to ground and pound. Frey, on the other hand, I've seen her be held down. She's going to get held down if she's on bottom. She's probably the better striker of the two by far. She's quick. She has a good straight, good combos, but I think Hansen's just too much on the ground for her. She's got one option: get her to the ground and win. I don't think Hansen's going to sit there and try to outpoint. If this thing goes to decision and it's standing, then you got to think Frey won, but she's going to outpoint Hansen all the way. But Hansen's too strong here. I like Hansen a lot here.
Yeah, so kind of with what Jeff just said, Hansen's definitely the more wrestler, grappler type. Couple of fights I watched, she looked really good. A couple of fights I watched, she didn't look that good. So kind of tough to make a solid pick for me. Frey, her last fight was a 5-round fight versus a pretty good girl in Ashley Cummins. But she's moving up from 105. They don't have a 105 division in UFC. They have 105 in Invicta. So she's moving up 10 pounds in weight. She looked decent at the weight. But Hansen being more of a wrestler grappler, I think she'll hold on to her weight better. So I think she'll be the stronger girl, where if she can grab a hold of Frey, like Jeff was saying, she can take her down, hopefully control her. She can't get a hold of her, and she's at range and eating kicks and jabs. It's going to be a long night for Hansen.
I agree.
Because Frey does look like she has pretty good kickboxing.
Hansen does not look good in the striking department, although she did take a boxing match recently, so she's getting better and she's okay. But
yeah, because
as far as striking, I mean, this is a clear advantage in Frey's department.
Yeah, there's one fight, so it's a win for Hansen. But so she got this armbar with literally 20 seconds left in the fight. I watched this fight yesterday. She was getting killed the whole fight. She was getting out-grappled, out-struck, and then the girl kind of just like postures up and like throws some punches, and then Hansen gets her arm and gets the armbar right at the end. And it, I don't want to say it saved her job in Invicta, but no, it was a big win for her. That's everything what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with some phenom. We're dealing with a 6-3 fighter versus a 9-4 fighter.
And these are both their first time in the UFC.
Yeah. So lay-in, I mean, I think Hansen, like usual, I tend to favor the wrestling, the grappling, as long as the fighters use the wrestling and grappling. So I do favor Hansen, but again, this is a debut fight. I really want to see how both girls look, to see their future, to see what they can do. I will take Hansen by decision, but I won't fault anyone for taking the other side. This could be another pick'em line, and I think the line's only this wide because they're favoring the grappler with the small cage, which did work for Blades last week, but we've seen it where these grapplers don't even use their wrestling and they get into stand-up fights and lose. So, but if Hansen uses the grappling, I think she can control the fight and win a decision. So I will take Hansen as well. We move on here. Late notice replacement for the opponent for Takashi Sato. This is Jason Witt. Currently, my bookie, we do not have a line for the fight. Online, I've seen anywhere from 275 to 300. This fight literally just got announced, 12 hours ago, like midnight last night. We were notified that the cornerman for Ramzi Braja got COVID, so they had to pull their fighter out, but they already had a fighter in place. So maybe this guy was training and was ready to make the fight. I don't know too much about Jason Witt. From what I've seen, studying Takashi Sato, he's another guy I'm not too high on. I would not lay 275 or 300 on the guy. He's big. He's a big guy. He's muscular. He packs good power, but he's not a great fighter. Uh, he's kind of just, I won't say lulls you to sleep, but he doesn't do a lot. And we've seen it where a lot of those fighters that don't do a lot, they can get picked apart and lose decisions. And with these late notice replacements happened last week with Camacho's opponent, he just came in, guns a-blazing, knocked him out, won in 30 seconds, called out for a fight on Fight Island. Who knows? Maybe he'll get it. But I guess I'll take Sato because we've seen him in the UFC. He's fought decent competition, but not a fight I will put my money on.
Yeah, I mean, Sato, man. And that's the thing is I was actually going to bet against him here at this spot. Because he's not that good, like Preston alluded to. He's got a karate kind of stance, got that karate style. He hits hard. He does hit hard. He's a little chinny for me. And he's not, he's got pretty good takedown defense, but man, you can't bet. You just can't even bet this fight. The guy on a short day notice. I mean, you have to go Sato here, in my opinion. He's had the longer camp, the more experience. Yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer for me.
Okay, so we're both on Sato there. We move on to what is the next one? Is it Worthy?
I have Lynn's Bowser, but I'm not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right. So we move on to a heavyweight bout between Philippe Lenz taking on Tanner Boser. Jeff, you have a look in this one.
I'll say so. Lynn comes in. Yeah, it's a pick 'em fight. Lynn, over and under 2.5. The over is minus 235. Under plus 195. Man, this is another tough one. I'm not. At first, I was gonna lean on with Tanner Boser, but man, after rewatching a few fights late, right before I came, actually, I'm not very impressed whatsoever. The guy has some pretty good kicks. He just doesn't throw a whole ton of volume. I mean, I don't know. He's not that high volume for me. Doesn't have tons and tons of power. I don't know, man. I don't like Tanner Boser here. I'm going to actually go Lynn's. Lynn's was the favorite against his last fight.
Yeah. We bet against Philip Lenz. It was his debut fight in the UFC against Andrei Arlovsky. He was like 240.
Yeah.
So
and I actually think that he won the first round, but he stopped throwing second and third. So and that's against a guy that's fucking a gatekeeper. Like, this guy's good. Arlovsky's way underrated, and that was a good fight. Like, man, I think Lynn comes in a little fresher, cleaner. He's the better boxer of the two. He's got a black belt. If he needs to take it there, he can. He throws a lot of combos. He's the cleaner striker of the two, and he's got way more power. If you look at his record, he fucking drops people at a fucking great rate. I mean, what was it? He had 8 TKOs. I mean, out of 14 wins, it's fucking pretty good. So I'm going with Lenz here.
Yeah, so like we were just saying, so Lenz came in off PFL. He won the championship, comes into UFC, gets a tough fight against Andrei Arlovsky, and Arlovsky just, like Jeff was saying, kind of threw more volume, quicker guy. Lenz has good power, but Arlovsky's chin held up. I think a very safe bet here is over. I think this is a pretty clear cut. This will go the decision. For one, I don't think Boser packs enough power to knock out Lenz. And I think Boser's chin will hold up enough to where he won't get knocked out. I mean, the guy just fought a very well-accomplished kickboxer in Cyril Gane, and he lost a decision. Boser does use good leg kicks. Big guy. Maybe he'll try to outspeed Lenz, but I think I'm going to side with Lenz too. I think this is a pretty big step down in competition for him. Bozer's in the UFC, but teetering, not really like a well-regarded fighter. And I'm gonna take Lens here
And
by decision.
the thing about Bozer I noticed too is he's like man, he works behind that kick and he's more of like a counter kind of guy. He's not a high volume. He doesn't like to push the pace. And yeah, he might be a tad quicker, but I don't know how quick he is. I think Lens was just more hesitant. It was his first fight, and he fucking that face is a good fucking fighter. Like,
Sure.
yeah, so yeah, we're all on Lens here.
So we just brought on here Jason from the Sports Keg. Jason, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Jason,
what's going on, boys? I'm back.
What's happening, brother?
Nothing much, friends. I did well the last couple weeks. Even though I wasn't able to get on the show, everything's been going well at the Sports Keg, and I hate this card, but I'm excited to talk with you guys about it.
Yeah, no shit. We were just talking. We've actually kind of hated the last few cards, but we've had probably a little bit worse luck than you have the last two cards too.
Have you?
Yeah. Last 2 weeks I've been pretty bad for me, but I got to take shots sometimes, and that's what I was doing. So.
Yeah, we went 6-2 last week. We picked up 4.5 units on Saturday night. Pretty good. I'm just struggling to see a lot of the angles on this card because a lot of the guys I think that should win are severely overpriced, and that makes you have to try to find another angle in the props market. So,
right. No, I agree. Well, we just got done wrapping up with the Lens Tanner fight. Do you have any info on that? You got any feedback? You got any pick?
Lens Tanner, those are the two heavyweights, right? The kid from PFL. Yeah. I don't have much on it, but I would say probably just the fact that Tanner Boser survived that Cyril Gane fight. I think he survived all the way through, right? Is that right?
Yeah, he lost a decision. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Lens wins that $1 million grand prize at PFL. But I faded him in his debut against Arlovsky. He was a pretty decent favorite, and I just didn't see anything in that fight that gets me excited about this kid at all. Now, granted, I even Andre Arlovsky at his old age is probably better than Tanner Boser, but one thing that Tanner Boser has proven thus far is he has an iron chin and he's willing to swing. So I probably won't get involved in the fight. Maybe I would take a look at the totals. But I'm not looking to put my money on either of these guys from a money line perspective.
No, I hear that. Yeah, it's a pick them for a reason. It's a close fight. So, man, we're gonna move on. What you got next on the docket there, Preston?
I believe we're moving to Kama Worthy taking on Luis Pena.
Kama Worthy. This is a fan favorite out there. I've been seeing a lot of people high on. I think I saw you on them, Keg. We'll start off with my bookies lines here. We got Luis Pena coming in at -250, Worthy plus 195 now, over and under 2.5, over -110, the under -120. Keg, I know you got a lot to say about this. I saw you post something earlier.
Yeah, I haven't placed a bet on the fight yet, Jeff. But okay. I truly believe if you're laying -280 or 250 on Angry Bob Ross, I just think you're betting MMA wrong, because I think the fight is most definitely Luis Pena's fight to lose. We should all agree first and foremost that the real Bob Ross is probably more violent than Angry Bob Ross, because the real Bob Ross was like in the Marines, I think, or some branch of the military. So, but I digress. I think it's Pena's fight to lose based on the size differential and skill set alone. The issue becomes, like I just said, should you ever lay minus 250 on Luis Pena or higher? And the answer for me is a resounding no. If you do that often enough with fighters of his level, you will lose long-term sports betting. Now, that being said, I do think that Pena appears to be full of potential that really never comes to fruition. I think he's got a great control game on the ground. He's big. If he had a consistent striking game, I think he would be solid because he has great range and he's really fast. Now, the guy that grinds out wins because he throws somebody in a body lock on the ground doesn't impress me all that much because he always seems like he's never truly in sync. Now, Kama Worthy, anybody that watches my show back in the day, we cashed on Kama Worthy at plus 600 in his UFC debut against Smith. It was, I think, one of the 5 biggest underdog wins in the history of the UFC. Now, I think that Kama Worthy has a true puncher's chance, maybe slightly above. The one thing that Worthy has going for him is when he loses, he gets knocked out. Pena is not a knockout striking threat at all. So that will probably mean that Worthy's going to feel comfortable enough to come inside and really not fear Luis Pena. I think Worthy is at his best when he's able to use counter striking. If Pena leads most of the exchanges in the fight, Worthy will probably be able to use his best tools and hope to cash another dog price. I don't like Worthy's footwork. He seems to be flat-footed a lot, which is not good against somebody that ultimately is trying to take you down, right? So even if Pena should win and he deserves to be the favorite, I will never lay that type of number on him. So I can only look to a dog or pass spot unless you're going to jump in to the proposition marketplace, which is a possibility. But I can only look to a dog or pass spot.
Yeah. What do you think, Preston? What do you got here?
Yeah, so like you said, Worthy's off his big first-round knockout. Like I said, plus 650 against Devontae Smith, but that was more of a striker versus striker. Pena hasn't looked great, but he is big. You know, he's big. He's got good size, good length, skinny guy, good reach, but apparently he only has a 1-inch reach advantage. But I watched a couple Worthy fights before the UFC where it just seemed like pretty much softballs, it looked like to me, he was getting thrown to. And in 2 of the fights I watched, he clearly had too much for the other guy standing. And the other guy took some of his shots pretty good. I don't think Worthy's just going to detonate Pena and just drop him in, you know, if it gets into like a firefight. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Worthy comes in, overextends himself, and gets taken down a couple times. Problem with Pena, though, he does throw those crazy, weird jumping knees too much, where he leaves his chin up in the air. So maybe Worthy could catch him with like a left hook there. But man, striker versus grappler type match, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna take the grappler.
That's true.
And yeah, I'm gonna take Pena here. You know, yeah, it's a little high. I was even thinking Pena by sub. I don't know what that number is.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with anything really that you just said, Preston. But would you ever in your life lay 260 on Pena?
Yeah, no, I mean, he was like 250 against Steven Peterson, and even then, you know, he won, but he's one of the more popular guys, I think. So that's why he's laying a little bit of heavier price.
I see the price of Inside the Distance at plus 140.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I think is going to happen is Worthy is going to come in, and as long as Pena doesn't get into just like a pure striking battle, I think Worthy's going to be, like you were saying, with his flat feet, get caught, overextend, and Pena's just going to put him on his back. And I think he's going to have a jiu-jitsu edge, at least a grappling edge. And hopefully, you know, maybe he'll get the sub. But I can see how Pena can win. I don't think Worthy's that great personally. I know he's getting quite a bit of love, but man, I don't see it. But you know, like I said, you know, he has a puncher's chance. He can definitely catch him, but
Yeah,
I think Pena's going to win the fight.
and to me, that's the only way he wins. He's got knockout power. That's proven. Everything else is all question marks with Worthy. I have never seen any tape of him grappling or wrestling. I mean, we don't know what I've seen him. I think maybe sub one dude I saw. But other than that, it's all question marks from Worthy. Pinion, we know where we're getting. We're getting the tall, linky, uses his range very well. Got good combos. Switched over to ATT. That's had to have helped his wrestling game even more. He's going to use it against the fence. He's going to try to get in the clinch. Throws those crazy knees. But like you said, Keg, I mean, am I really laying 250 on fucking Pinion? No, I'm not going to do that. So I think he wins. I don't mind the look, maybe a sub, a rear naked choke sub or something like that, plus 200, or even the there's a prop over 1.5 rounds is minus 200. That's not a bad look either.
Yeah, if he doesn't get knocked out, that's probably definitely going over 1.5 rounds.
Yeah, so minus 200 for that. I don't think it's a bad bet, but yeah, I mean, dude, I'm not rushing out to bet Pena. He's not worthy. I mean, every fight I've backed Pena on, even if I didn't have money, it's a nail biter no matter what, it seems like. So yeah, man. So I mean, I don't know if I would take the shot with the dog here. I don't know if it's the right spot, but because I do think Pena wins, but I'm not going to lay 250 to win 100 on with Pena. So cool. Yeah. So that's it. Let's move on to the next one.
I think it's going to be Sean Woodson taking on short notice replacement Julian Juicy J Arosa. Another heavy line here. Very heavy line.
Yeah. Sean Woodson comes in at minus 510 on my bookie. Arosa plus 360. Over and under 2.5. Over plus 1.5. Under minus 135. Preston, what do you have?
I'll be honest. In his Contender Series fight, I thought Sean Woodson was one of the worst signings Dana White's ever made. I thought he looked horrible. He had no grappling. He got taken down at will. Long guy, tall guy, rangy guy. So the next fight he fought Kyle Bochniak. I'm pretty sure I bet Kyle Bochniak in that fight, and Woodson looked very good. Big, tall guy. He was using his range better, throwing that jab out there, sticking that jab. Good knees, good straights. Tall, big guy. Originally, he was going to fight Kyle Nelson. I don't know what really happened, if it was a visa issue or what, but he gets pulled out. In comes Julian Arosa, who hasn't fought in over a year, I want to say. And Arosa's a striker, so kind of feeds right into what Woodson wants. So Woodson's a good, tall, lanky striker, good kicks, good knees, and the jab. The one thing I kept noticing was that jab. And man, I think Arosa is going to have a hard time getting inside, and Woodson can kind of do whatever he wants here. 5'10's insane for the caliber of fighter this guy is to me. But yeah, I'm going to take Woodson by TKO. Maybe just Woodson inside the distance, but you're still probably laying 3-1. But yeah, it's Woodson's fight all day.
Keg, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't really disagree with anything Preston said. Arosa, I know he steps in on a few days' notice. I think it was a visa issue for Kyle Nelson, and it probably would have been a better fight than what we're going to see tomorrow night. Not really much to like about Arosa. I mean, if you watch his knockout loss to Julio Arce, he leaves his hands around his waist. The kid's just begging to get knocked out. That's exactly what happened in that fight. From what I've seen of Woodson, he does have legitimate boxing skills. And I think I agree completely. If he stays behind that jab, it should be enough for him to set up a striking game to win points or to get the knockout. But all that being said, I barely want to lay $5 when I'm backing Amanda Nunes. Never mind Sean Woodson. So your only play is you have to just dive into the prop market and try to find an angle there, unless you're going to use him as a parlay piece. But even then, I still am not throwing him in a parlay at -$5. So it would be the prop market here or pass for me.
Yeah, I agree 100% with both of y'all. My bookie doesn't have any props, but Rosa's weak ass chin and Woodson's good boxing and strong power, I mean, equals a KO, TKO inside the distance for sure. So any of those three bets, I think, is a good bet. Woodson's going to win this fight easy. It's just a matter of what round. And that's, I mean, Woodson, yeah, you can't bet him, but those three prop bets are as a DraftKings piece, I guess. I mean, what else do you do with the -510?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm looking at the lines right now. For him to win by knockout is -160.
Not bad.
For him to basically win. No, I'm sorry. For him to win by knockout, -125. For him to win inside the distance, -160.
yeah, I mean,
I like both those.
Yeah, that cuts it down big time.
Yep, I'd take both of those and just you're gonna hit one of them. Yep. So we're on agreement there. That's a quick one. What's the next fight on the docket, Preston?
I'm guessing it's Brendan Allen.
It's got to be Brendan Allen. Okay, let's see. Or is it Green? No, it's Green. We got Maurice Green.
Okay.
Against Villane, -235. Green comes in. Villane comes in at +195. Over and under 2.5. Over +135. Under -165. What do you got here, Preston?
So Maurice Green versus Jan Vellante. Vellante, another guy, shouldn't be in the UFC. He's moving up to heavyweight here. Maurice Green, not too talented. Don't know what else to say. He's a big guy though. Good boxing, and he likes using to get his opponent down, work some submissions. Kind of was not thrown to the wolves against Oleinik his last fight, but he was in there with a tough vet. He gassed out. Oleinik gets the sub. I don't even know why Vellante's here. Honestly, I don't see what he can do. He gasses out too bad. He's moving up in weight. He's gotten finished pretty quickly. His last fight against what's his face, Lord Olajaychuk. He's just, man. He's in, life or death struggles with Ed Herman, with Sam Alvey. He's not really put himself out there too much. He hasn't improved. He'll give a punch, take a couple punches, and I just think what I think is really going to happen is Green's going to jab him a few times. Vellante's going to wing some hooks, hope to catch him and drop him, but I don't think he'll drop him. Gas out. Green clinches him against the cage. Eventually gets him to the ground and works either ground and pound or a sub. I think it's Green all day. I can't back Vellante. I really can't.
Yeah. No, I can't back him either, man. He's going to get thrashed in this fight. I mean, his body is worn to shit. Some people say that's why he maybe even went up a weight, because he's ready to retire. He doesn't give a shit. Gets him a little extra cushion to get his ass whipped for that last payday.
He hasn't fought in over a year.
I know,
like
dude.
A year and a half.
And besides that, he's just not. I don't think he's that good. He's kind of wild, too wild for me. Leaves himself open too much. And then you got Green on the other side that, like you said, he doesn't throw enough either. I mean, he's got some decent kicks, has a pretty strong jab he can hurt people with, but he's more of a dangerous guy off his back. He's a dangerous submission grappler. but I don't think he gets it here. I think he TKOs. I think he gets fucking Villane out with the T. I think he just
I mean, he's
hurts him.
big.
I think he hurts him so bad with some kind of kick to the stomach or something. And this was the easy one for me. Green all day.
Yeah, Green's huge. Green's right at like 260, 265. Villante isn't that big. So
Who do you got, Keg?
Both these guys do absolutely nothing for me. I mean, the question becomes, is Mo Green size and length enough to beat Villante? That's what it comes down to, really. And if you took a look at the weigh-ins, I mean, he is huge sitting next to Villante. But, Mo Green is not a skilled MMA fighter. He swings those big arms and legs. He tries not to empty the gas tank while he does it. Green comes into the UFC. He beats 3 fucking jobbers before losing to Alexei Olenek by sub in his last fight. And in fairness, he lost to the only legitimate UFC caliber heavyweight that he fought. So, I mean, I don't know. He's got zero skills that impress me, but he's a big dude. On the other side of the cage, Villante does absolutely nothing for me. Obviously, first fight as a heavyweight in the UFC. And, how do you bet somebody that loses to Sam Alvey? I mean, I want no part of anybody that loses fights to Sam Alvey. So I guess it's Mo Green or pass, but the price is brutal, man. Like, that's my issue with all these fights.
All these fucking cards, dude. It's bad, bro.
Yeah, I mean, what's the current price right now on Mo Green?
You think that's because it's one of the few things you can bet right now? I mean, why the fuck are we getting bashed on these prices lately?
To be honest, I'm not really sure, but minus 225 on Mo Green.
Minus 235.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
I like the KO, TKO. It's even money. I mean, at least you have an option there. But
do you guys think it goes 3 rounds? You can get over 2.5 at plus 120.
I just noticed that Villane, after the first round of his fucking craziness, he drops off big time. And when he does, he can get hurt pretty easy, dude. He's old. His body's fucked. I mean,
he's got no gas tank.
No.
And now he's carrying around an extra 20 pounds or 40 pounds, whatever it is.
So I don't see it going 3 personally, but no telling, man.
Well,
These guys could just stare at each other too.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't go 3, because at the end of round 2, you got to bring the ambulance around. Someone might die in the ring in round 3.
The one thing that might save us all is the short fucking cage here and make these fuckers fight. Otherwise, they might just stare at each other.
Yeah. I hate that. Yeah, this is a shit main card fight, but hey.
I think we're all in agreement there, right? Everyone's leaning on Mo Green. I mean, obviously,
if you wanted to take a flyer, Mo Green to win in round 1 plus 210 to win in round 2 plus 450. That's not terrible if you think he's going to win in the first or second round.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, those aren't terrible props.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have to bet, I mean, fuck, this is a perfect classic fight I just watched because I don't even fucking know. All right, let's get to the fucking good fights here, if there are any left. The next fight I'm pretty high on. Brendan Allen comes in at minus 315, taking Kyle. Let's see, damn it.
Kyle Dawkins.
God dang it. Thing keeps jumping up on me, man. I'm losing my. Okay, Allen comes in at minus 315 and Dawkins is plus 255. Over and under 1.5. Over 1.5 is minus 110. Under is minus 120. What do you got, Keg? This is a pretty interesting fight here.
Yeah, Brendan Allen at minus 315 is not interesting, though. I'll tell you that. Yeah, but I agree. Kyle Dawkins, Brendan Allen, they appear to be really similar fighters in their style. Both really skilled grapplers with legitimate submission games. That's basically what I see in a nutshell. From what I've seen of Brendan Allen's game, I like him a lot as a prospect. I think he's an excellent grappler. He has a ton of submission wins. He has really solid top control, finds limbs or necks and scrambles. And I'm pretty high on Kevin Holland. And Brendan Allen was really impressive in that win against Holland. That opened my eyes, and I started to take notice of Allen a little bit. They both appear to be really, really good grapplers. They're both looking to clinch up, trip and rip takedowns, and basically impose their will on the ground. I don't really see a significant advantage in the striking department. Allen is better at range, I think. He's better at closing distance, and his footwork seems to be better right now. But, Dawkins, I'm intrigued by him. He's a skilled grappler. His top control is not as good as Allen's right now. He is definitely more raw right now. And you could see that most of the times when good things happen for him. They happen off front headlocks. I think that's a big reason why he has a bunch of Darstroke victories. I guess the problem is the fucking price again, man. I would lean Brendan Allen here, but this price is killing me. So you would have to look for something in the props market. Now, I just spoke to Eric Anders, who beat Brendan Allen for the LFA middleweight championship. And he thinks that Brendan Allen has progressed, and he thinks that he gets the job done, even though he didn't know a ton about Dawkins. So I guess I'm going to have to lean that way too, but I won't bet him straight. It's a parlay piece, or you look at something in the props market.
Yeah, I mean, man, this is a pretty fucking close fight. I don't think it should be minus 315 at all. It's a lot closer to me. These guys do have almost identical fighting styles. They both very good grapplers, submission guys, like to take it to the floor. Very good in the clinch. Both throw pretty nasty knees once they're there. And I actually think Dawkins has. I think he has the slight edge in the striking department. I think he has the better boxing from what I've seen. Does that matter? I don't think so, because with the Allen fight, does the striking ever really matter? I mean, he kind of just uses the striking to get in, get takedowns, and that's what he wants to do. The only difference here is Dawkins is the fucking nasty ass submission grappler himself. He's got 8 submissions out of 9 victories. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, really good grappler.
Coming in undefeated here, and this is a true dog or pass for me. I tend to lean Allen, but man, for this price, I'm going to take Dawkins. I know the experience scares me a little bit, and I don't know, because I haven't been although I am impressed with Allen, I'm not as impressed with. I see a lot of things in his top game that he doesn't control position enough for me. He especially someone like this that will try to reverse it on him. Man, I haven't been as impressed with this top game. I know he usually finishes things pretty quickly. Man, I'm going Dawkins here. I'm going the dog. I'm going the big dog here, 250. I just think if it comes down to it and this fight's left standing, that he does have the small advantage. Everywhere else, Dawkins is the bigger guy here. I think he can use that to his advantage.
It's hard to disagree with your play, because there has to be value on the dog, because Brendan Allen should never be minus 320 ever.
That's what I think.
So, yeah, I don't completely disagree with that look.
It just sucks because I like Allen as a fighter and I almost want him to win, but Dawkins has really impressed me too, man. And for the price here, I got to go with him. Just take a shot. If I'm going to take a shot on this card, it's going to be right here with this fighter.
Yeah. So this is a really tough fight. Like Jeff was saying, Allen's a big guy, but Dawkins is right there too. 6'3", Allen's 6'2". Dawkins was in the Contender Series at the time during that fight. I actually thought he did enough to get the contract. Dana White wasn't pleased with him and said, hey, you got to get some more wins before we re-sign you. I actually thought he looked good, but he didn't get the finish. So he got the decision, goes back to the regional scene, gets 2 easy wins. Allen's definitely his toughest opponent. And Allen's a good fighter. Allen has the best win. I think we all agree there with the rear naked choke over Kevin Holland.
Yep.
But Kevin Holland definitely fights. He's a little more like crazy, like scrambly. Dawkins is kind of chin down, just knows how to fight. This could be a really good grappling match. And
I think it's a lot closer than people.
yeah, you can't. To me, I'm with you. I don't think you can really lay 315, 330
Right.
with Brendan Allen because, yeah, it's not like he's fighting some UFC debutant, some striker with zero grappling. The kid he's fighting has grappling. They're pretty much a mirror match, and you're getting over 2-1. Dawkins has looked good.
What about the overlook here? Over 1.5 minus 130.
That's what I was going to say. I think over 1.5 seems very good.
What do you
I
think?
agree with
what do you
that.
think, Jason?
Well, if they're going to roll like they should, then you like your chances of them getting past 7.5 minutes. So I don't disagree with that look.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I know earlier I said Dawkins has the slight edge in the boxing, but I will say Allen probably does carry the power in his hands a little bit better. So that could void out to the striking, but I don't think this fight goes striking. I think it just ends up a roll around match for maybe 3 whole fucking rounds, bro. I know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think if either guy gets their back that there's going to cinch in a rear naked choke immediately. I think there's going to be some hand fighting, and the clock's going to be ticking and like drained out, and it's going to be a tough fight to score for the judges. So I love the over 1.5 personally.
Cool. So that's a good play. Well, I think we're kind of torn here. I mean, Jason, if you had to place a bet, what would you do? I mean, do you have any plays on this yet, or
if you gave me a free bet, I would take the shot with the dog. As far as my money is concerned, I would probably much rather look to bet that over 1.5 rounds than take a shot on one of these fighters.
Yeah, no, I like that over 1.5.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good look there. Well, we're getting into the last 2 fights here of a short card, a 10-card fight. And that leaves us with, is that it? Oh, no. Okay, here's the big one. Mike Perry comes in here's another big fucking wide range. Mike Perry comes in at minus 315 over Mickey Gall, plus 255. Over and under 1.5. Over 1.5 is minus 110. Under 1.5 is 120. Preston, what do you got here?
Yeah. Mike Perry's insane. He has no corner. He has a new girlfriend training him. If you saw the footage of her holding his pads, I was like, it's like, what's going on? Like, where, I get you're from Florida, but come on, man. Let's not stick to the stereotype too much. Mickey Gall, though, has no striking. Mickey Gall is, I think, horrible. I don't think he should be in the UFC. He has decent grappling. He tapped out wrestler CM Punk. Good win for him there, I guess. He looked horrible against Diego Sanchez. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Diego Sanchez kind of took him down and beat the hell out of him in that second round and just tore him up. Mike Perry's also, though, it's tough because he's off 2 losses. Recently got detonated against Jeff Neal. Before that, I believe, was his fight against Luke K, which was a stand-up war, which he lost a split.
He got KO'd by Jeff Neal, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was his first knockout?
That was quick. Yeah, he lost in like a minute and a half. That was
Jeff Neal is legit, though.
Oh, yeah. Boxing-wise, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, so that was his last loss. And then, before that, he beat Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Then, But, I got to take Perry. But like you're saying, the line's really wide. But I don't think Gall has anything for Perry standing. And I don't think Perry's dumb enough, but maybe he is to initiate a grappling match. I would hope not. But, I think Perry by KO, Perry round 1, if you're getting some sort of good plus money. If you're not getting plus money with, like, Perry round 1, I would just lay the Perry by KO, Perry inside the distance.
Perry round 1 is plus 180 right now.
Yeah, that's what I would bet. Small cage, Gall can't run away. And, Yeah, I think Perry gets him out of there.
That's the one thing about Gall, man, is that fucking turning his back and running away
Yeah.
shit that bothers me.
Yeah, he does it a lot.
He is a tough son of a bitch, though. I gotta admit, he's got a fucking chin on his ass for being a. I mean, he is Wreck-It Ralph and human, isn't he? I mean, his head looks just like the fucking dude. But man, this is tough for me. I don't know, man. Fuck, Mike Perry's a lunatic, and I just don't know how much I trust him. Mickey, on the other hand, I mean, he's gotten better. You got to give the guy credit. He's getting better.
His last fight was the best he looked standing.
His striking's looking better.
Yeah.
He's putting together some combos. His kicks are okay. Does he have enough power in any of those hands to knock Perry out? And I don't think so.
No.
His only shot here is to get Perry on the ground, which Perry has some underrated wrestling and pretty good takedown defense. But man, fuck. I think Perry gets him in the clinch, worst case scenario, and keeps it there. I don't think he gets to the ground. It's hard for me to trust Mickey because I don't think he has a whole bunch other than that rear naked choke submission. Like, he's got to take it there to get this win. He's got to.
Yeah.
But you can't bet Perry minus 315. I fucking can't do it. I got a sick feeling that Perry is he's got the whole world looking at him right now thinking he's a nutbag. I have a fucking feeling Perry comes out, puts it on the first 2 minutes, and TKO's Gal. What do you got, Jason?
Well, if you haven't bet Mike Perry straight already, you can't bet him now. He opened at minus 280. He's probably somewhere around minus 330. So you already lost about 50 to 60 cents of value. So, I mean, your only way to look is a prop or throw him in a parlay to get the odds down, even though you're kind of still losing value. It's definitely Mike Perry's fight to lose, right?
Yep.
I mean, he has a significant power advantage. He's fundamentally a better striker. My issue with Mike Perry has always been his striking accuracy. Got really heavy hands, man, but he's a lot of the time he's swinging at the wind. So, and that's because his footwork is not good. He doesn't cut angles the right way. He's got no ground game, but the tools that he does have should be enough to beat Mickey Gall. I wish that Perry was a more natural counter striker, but unfortunately, you know, I don't see the counter game as much as I would like. One thing worth mentioning, obviously you guys already did, he will have no coaches in his corner. He refers to his new girlfriend as the peanut butter cup chocolate chip cookie that will be in his corner. I mean, if we're being fair and we're calling a spade, the guy is fucking shot. Like he's out to lunch. There's nobody home. So the last few fights, though, you know, Perry has really excelled inside the clinch, and his striking while in the clinch, I think, is even better than his striking at range. That should help him in this fight because anybody that watches Mickey Gall knows he loves the clinch. He uses it to get his opponents down to the mat. And when that happens, Perry should have an edge there. Mickey Gall, we know, is a really good grappler, but we also know that his gas tank is a joke. I mean, anything past the midway point around 2, and he's in trouble. So he's not very technical on the feet, right? He gets knocked out by Diego Sanchez 8 years past his prime. So at the end of the day, if he gets knocked out by Diego, you know, Mike Perry's going to have his opportunities to win this fight and probably inside the distance. But all that said, would it shock me if Mike Perry has like a brain fart and Mickey Gall somehow grabs a neck in a scramble? It wouldn't, because Mike Perry is Mike Perry. So, but for me, I guess you could take a look at Mike Perry inside the distance or by knockout if the price isn't horrific, or, you know, you look in the prop market and see what else you could see.
Yeah, man, that's the one thing that does scare me, dude, is fucking this dude's a psychopath. Like, you don't know what the fuck's what's going to happen. I just don't know if I could ever put a lot of money on Perry at this point, especially even the first round knockout. I mean, I don't know, dude. Fucking Galahad's a pretty decent. He's a pretty tough guy. Who knows, but
Yeah.
there's only one way I think I could bet it would be to that first
I mean,
round.
I'd rather bet Mike Perry than Brennan Allen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I know. It's kind of weird. All right, well, let's get to the only fight that matters on this card for me, at least. It's DP coming in versus Dan Hooker. Hooker is catching the points plus 190. Dustin's coming in at minus 230. The over and under 2.5. Minus 150 for the over. Under plus 120. It's a good fight, man. This is a real good fight. This is the one that's kept me up at night that I just don't know what to do with. What do you got, Kag? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this fight. I think it is the only fight on the card that could easily be a co-main event in a pay-per-view. I said that earlier on my show. It's an interesting fight, and I think the one question that everything boils down to is, have we seen the best of Dustin Poirier? Eventually, the answer to that question is going to be yes. I don't know how somebody reacts when they fight through fire for a decade. They eventually get to the top of the sport with an interim title, and they lose it really badly against a monster in Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, I don't hold that loss against Poirier because Khabib is Khabib. But does Poirier have the mental fortitude now to get back up on the horse after a devastating blow? I think that the physical gifts are still there. He is still an elite lightweight in the division. And if we're being honest, he has made the case that he is the best lightweight in that division, not named Khabib Nurmagomedov, because Justin Gaethje beat him. He lost to Dustin Poirier. So Poirier destroyed him in that fourth round. So if Poirier is okay mentally, I really struggle to find a way where Dan Hooker wins the fight. I think Hooker has a serious issue with counter strikers. He has an issue with fighters that attack the body because his body is soft. Poirier is probably the best counter striker that Hooker has seen by a wide margin, and he throws more volume, has more power, and this is the big thing, he sets a pace that I don't see how Dan Hooker could possibly keep up with. If you look at the punch counts in the latter rounds of championship fights and main events, what Dustin Poirier does, and then you look at how Dan Hooker has struggled in similar situations, it's not even close. So I think that if this fight gets past round 2, it swings dramatically into the favor of Dustin Poirier. I think Dan Hooker maybe has a round and a half to get it done. If he doesn't, he's in big trouble. And I don't think he has the power to make Dustin Poirier fear getting in the pocket. And if Poirier gets in the pocket, he's the best boxer in the lightweight division. So I just don't see how he loses. Initially, when I first thought about the fight, I said to myself, wow, plus 185 on Dan Hooker. That's got to be about 40 cents of value there. I would have put that line at plus 140. Then I watched about 6 hours of fight tape between him and Poirier, and I'm starting to think that line is really closer to what it should be. I don't think there's a ton of value on Dan Hooker. Maybe there's a slight amount, but I can only look to either. There's no way this fight goes the distance, in my opinion. Not with the amount of punches that'll be thrown in 5 rounds. I know they're making you pay for it. It's like minus 270, but I just don't see how the fight goes the distance. Second bet would be Poirier inside the distance, I think is like minus 120, or him by knockout is like plus 110. I think, in my opinion, those are the only 3 ways you could look at this fight, because I just think that he gets it done.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty much in full agreement with you, Keg. I really like DP here, man. At first, I thought I was going to lean Hooker, with that price hanging over his head. I think it's good value if you want to take that side, but I just think he's stepping up. DP, man, I think he's going to outclass Hooker come Saturday night. He's by far, he hits stronger. He is the better counter striker of the two. He will get inside. He's the better grappler. I think he has more ways to win. He's tough as nails. He's proved that. His fights are exciting. Hooker, he's got good, kicks, longs, great jab, can submit himself. But I think DP is just too smart, another level. And I could be totally wrong. DP could be on the decline. A lot of fighters, after they lose like he did to Khabib, and Khabib does that to everyone, but it could take a lot out of him for everything you said, that he finally gets there and he loses that fashion. But man, I think he's just on another level, man. I got to roll with my Southern Louisiana boy here, DP. I'm taking straight up minus 230. I think it's a good bet. Either way, I see value on Hooker, but I'm taking DP. I just have a feeling he comes out and he outclasses Hooker all the time.
My only issue with you taking that money line is that the line opened at minus 190. So you lost like 40 cents of value. Yeah, but other than that, I totally get it.
My thing is, I guess I could see DP by TKO plus 125 even.
Let me ask you both a question. Do you think, is it possible this fight goes the distance? I just don't see it.
I don't think it does personally. Yeah. The thing is, though, Hooker is tough as shit. He got beat to fucking nails by Barbosa, and he still kind of wanted to fight. Yeah. His corner could have stopped that fight a whole round earlier.
Yeah.
And he took that abuse. I know Hooker. I know DP's got more power in his hands and everything, but
Poirier is a bad motherfucker in that.
I know he is, bro. So I'm going with, and he has fucking just as good kicks. He's like Preston alluded to earlier this week. DP's a way better version of Felder. And I think that fight was close. Now, I think DP is going to come in here. He kicks harder than Felder. He's got good leg kicks. Man, I'm going DP all the way here. I'm going with my Southern boy.
Yeah. So originally I was right there with you, both you guys. I thought Hooker would actually win this fight. And then you watched 1, 2, 3 fights of Hooker, and you see Hooker gas out every fight, mid round 2, late round 2.
After,
Ally Aquintas hitting Hooker with an overhand right. Aquintas jabbing Hooker. Hooker has a good jab. Hooker's long. He's tall. He faded bad against Felder. Felder bit down on his mouthpiece, got inside, started hitting him with some good hooks. Hooker wasn't liking the hooks. What's Hooker try to do? Take him down. That's not going to happen against Poirier. Poirier's going to get inside, really, like Jason was saying, really get to that body. Man, I really think Poirier knocks him out with a body shot like round 3. Poirier is so good. He's so good. Like, man, his boxing is great. Yeah, he's off a tough loss where he just couldn't get Khabib off him. He just that was the fight.
Who can?
Yeah, that was
who fucking can.
Yeah, that was the fight. He had Khabib in a guillotine, didn't get it. Khabib gets some. Hooker gives up his not Hooker. Poirier gives up his back, gets tapped out. Poirier is, man, it's everything though with Poirier. It's because we were saying he fought Gaethje. He took a ton of abuse against Gaethje. Gaethje's cracking him in the legs over and over and over again. He's biting down his mouth guard, eating those shots.
Right. What is Dan Hooker going to do to hurt him?
Yeah, no, I agree, because I was right there with you where I'm like, man, Hooker looks like he has value. Then you watch more of Poirier's fights. Poirier.
Right. Hooker's plan here is to use his length, and it's not that much of a length when you look at the.
He's got a bad jab. I love Hooker's jab.
And
right, he'll stay at range behind that for 5 rounds.
That's it. That's his game plan. If he can do that, he can win this fight. But
there's no way Poirier lets him do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he can't do that. It's a small cage. So right there, you're limiting his movement. He can't, he's not gonna be able to move as freely as he wants. Poirier's gonna get in his grill from the minute round 1 starts and just beat the hell out of him to the body.
And
And eventually he's going to knock him out with a body shot. That's what I think is going to happen.
He's going to chase that title again, man. He's just that kind of competitor. I see it in his eyes. He's hungrier than ever, man.
It makes me want to drop a bomb on this fight does not go the distance at like -270 because I just don't see how it goes the distance.
Does this fight go the distance? No, -275 here at my bookie.
Yeah, I don't see how on earth it goes. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either.
See, but even with that, I would rather take what you were saying, Poirier
by knockout or inside the distance at like -110, +110.
Yeah, I would rather.
Yeah,
because I was with you. I was really thinking, man, I'm getting 2-1 on Hooker. Look who's Hooker. Hooker beat Felder. He beat Iaquinta. He's a bad man. Then I watch a few Hooker fights. Immediately when he gets some adversity, I mean, he's tough. He eats those shots, but he just slows down so much. Once someone starts putting it on him, he doesn't want to be in there. So round one, maybe Hooker fights behind the jab, hits him with some low kicks, and, has like a pretty clean round. Round two, Poirier's gonna be like, "F this, I'm coming inside," and then he's gonna boot him up.
He's got
and even if Hooker has a solid round two, the pace that Poirier will set in round 3, 4, and 5, it's just gonna swing dramatically in his favor.
Yeah, I mean, and Poirier just did that against Holloway. Holloway is so good with his range, with his jab, with his movement. Hooker's not as good as Holloway, and Poirier beat the hell out of Holloway for a couple rounds there, and then he, so, man, I really think this is Poirier's fight to lose. This could be a best bet for sure.
Yeah, man. So that takes us actually to our best bets. I think we're on agreement there. That's DP. Wow, I really thought one of us was going to take Hooker there, but I guess
originally I'll be honest, I was going to take Hooker because I'm like, man, I feel like I'm getting value with Hooker. Then I've watched more of his fights, and it's just like with how Felder came at him and just was beating him up bad, and then Hooker's like desperate plea was takedown. He's not going to get that takedown against Poirier. At least I
even said in the article, the main event article that I wrote, that I thought there was probably value on Hooker for people that wanted to back him. But then I started watching the tape, and I was like, man, this line is right. Yeah. This line is pretty accurate. So the play in the article on pubsportsradio.com was, I think it was Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy to make the cut at the Travelers, which they did. Parlayed with the fight does not go the distance at like -110, I think. That was the play. So we'll get that home as long as the fight doesn't go the distance. Speaking of that, have you guys bet anything for the golf tournament this weekend for the Travelers?
I have not, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't bet golf. I just don't watch it enough. I do play golf though a lot, and I love golf, but I don't watch it. So
no,
I don't mess around. Although I do have quite a few friends that bet on it, and man, it feels like they always find great value in golf. Something I really haven't tinkered around in yet.
Yeah, I haven't done golf. We had our local guy here Tuesday, San Antonio guy, Joshua Franco won ESPN main event +400, and we hit that. So that was a good one for us.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
You know who's a PGA professional golfer is Jamie from Ohana Academy.
Really?
This guy's a 53-year-old ex-PGA golfer. Yeah, he probably has some good insight. I'll have to get him in here. But What do you got, Keg? Who do you got rolling on this?
I picked up a dime today. I had $1,000 parlay for 3 guys to make the cut, and it seems like a really soft market, man. I had like Bryson DeChambeau, McIlroy, and Abraham Answer to make the cut, and they did it with ease. So I think I'm going to attack that market every week for these tournaments, because you can get the parlay down to like -110. So yeah. I think it was like -125. I laid $12.50 to pick up 1,000, but it was like money in the bank, man. It was pretty easy. But I'll have some golf bets over the weekend for sure.
When you're making a bet like that, Jason, is that considered a prop bet in golf, or is that just like a straight up bet?
Yeah, it's like a prop bet. Yeah, because the straight up bets are basically like matchups.
Okay.
Like one golfer versus another for the tournament, or which golfer wins outright. Like like McIlroy was like 10-1, DeChambeau was like 11-1. So it was like that. But yeah, it's a prop that most books have to make or miss the cut.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's good to know. That's what a bunch of my buddies, they sprinkle a lot on actually who's going to win. I guess that's the biggest lines that pay out, right?
Yeah.
Well, man, so we're going to wrap up the show, but we have our best bet segment first. We'll start off with you, Keg. What do you have? Who's your best bet of the night?
Oh, Christ. Man,
putting our guest on the spot.
The only bet that like I want to take on this entire card is Poirier to get the job done inside the distance. If I know all of us are on that. If I was going to do something else, I like Preston's look a lot on over 1.5 rounds in that Brendan Allen fight. I'll probably have a piece of that on the Kegcast betting show tomorrow. Aside from that, I don't see much, man. I'm going to have to dig into these props hardcore because I'm not laying these prices on people straight up. That's for sure. Like maybe you throw Woodson and Perry in a parlay, that probably gets you down pretty nice there. Actually, let's see what that gets you. Woodson and Perry gets you down to minus 175. You know, maybe something like that, a parlay like that. Other than that, I'll be attacking the prop bets.
Cool. Well, you're going to have to tune in live to Jason's live fight cast to get those prop bets. Preston, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna like you're saying, nice and easy. Poirier inside the distance. It's really the only fight I feel confident in because those are the two guys I know the most. That's an issue I have with a lot of these UFC fights. We have 5 fights where these fighters are debuting, and we're asked to lay 250 on a guy, but we don't know, who he is.
Yeah,
so. I sent out a tweet that said basically, if people like us don't even know who these fighters are, the public is really fucked on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, I don't know. For me, it's just I need the pay-per-view cards, the fights where we know the fighters, where I've watched them fight. Like, it's just, I don't know, laying, like last week, that new kid where the corner fucked him.
Max Roshkov.
Yeah, he's laying 180. He's had 5 fights, and then second round, he looks, he was done. He was done. And it's just like, how can you lay 180 with this kid? You can't. So, yeah, I'm just going to do the fight I know the best, Poirier inside the distance.
Were you guys on Tisha Torres last week at plus 190?
Yeah, so I like Tisha. I know Jeff was talking about Van Buren, but
yep, I was on Van Buren. I had her I thought she was going to be able to hold Tisha down, but she couldn't even get.
But that's another one where the line is too wide with these new fighters, where they act like they're the cream of the crop, and they come in here. You're facing a tough vet. Tisha's only lost to Joanna, Zhang, a bunch of those top girls, and she was the bigger girl. Tisha was bigger than this other girl. That's where
I was on her. I had her twice, plus 190, plus 130. You guys have any early looks that you're already on for UFC 251?
Yeah, Rose.
Yep.
Rose over Andrade for sure.
We both like Rose.
Yeah, I love that bet.
Yeah, that might be the biggest bet of the year for us. That's the one we're talking about going to Mississippi or Vegas for. Honestly.
She was up 2-0 before she got dropped on her head, bro. That's not happening again.
Yeah, she don't get dropped on her fucking head that fight.
Yeah, so yeah, that's for sure. And then I do like DC over Stipe, but that's in August, so we'll get there when we do.
That's a tougher fight. But
yeah.
DC was dominating that first 3 rounds.
Yeah, and then he just got that body, the body.
I guarantee you, after that fight, he fucking went and got, that was his training for the next fucking 6 months. Get your fucking body beat.
Yeah. So
you think Max has a shot to beat Volkanovski the second time?
I always think Max is live, dog. I mean, he's a fucking good. He's one of the best. I do think he has a shot. It's not like Volkanovski just fucking totally fucking outclassed the dude. I mean,
he leg kicked him to death all the way to the title.
yeah, I know, and I don't think that happens the second time. I think you can adjust to things like that. So
I agree.
But it's going to be a close fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if Max lost again. But I think he has definitely a live dog. I mean, my best bet in this this card right here, and probably think I'm crazy because it's two new fighters. I'm going Kay Hansen. I think she has a pretty dominant fight at -170. I'm going to lay her all day. I do know both of these girls. I know that the other one's moving up 10 pounds from Invicta. She's going up in weight. She's a smaller girl. She's the better striker, but Hansen's going to fucking lay on top of this chick, and I think she's just going to ground and pound her to a victory. That's my best bet.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. You know, these ESPN cards have been tough, but we're going on to Fight Island. We got my other best bet was coming up. Cater's facing Dan Iggy. That line's 275, 300. So
I love that Cater fight, man.
Just a garbage line, though. Garbage line. So, but
yeah, I know that's the problem with these lines.
And even the guy you had on, Frankie. I think Frankie's live against Pedro Munoz. I like him too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Frankie's live against Munoz.
Yeah, so that's another good dog there. So,
what do y'all have anything y'all think Burns can pull it out or no way?
You know what? On my show, on the Fightcast, we cashed Burns 4 consecutive fights as an underdog. But this fight, man, oy vey. I mean, Kamaru Usman is just a different kind of dude. I don't know. I have to really dive deep into that. But my initial thought going into the fight tape is Usman probably wins, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Cool, you see Paige Van Zandt as a plus 550 underdog against Amanda Ribas.
Yeah. I think Ribas is good, but man, I don't know.
She's real good.
I don't know if she's fucking -800 good. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They want Paige to look like a clown, so then she doesn't get a good contract somewhere else. But
yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, man. So we're gonna be watching live too as well. Any last thoughts going into tomorrow night, Jason?
Let's just get through it, and then it's 2 weeks to Fight Island, baby. I'll be on tomorrow night at 3:00 we'll be on early for the NASCAR race. Obviously, we'll stay on live bet all the way through the fight. And then Sunday, I'll be on at 3:30 for the second NASCAR race at Pocono. So just trying to make money all weekend, my friend.
Yeah, man, we might have to hop on some of that NASCAR.
I was going to say, I am done betting NASCAR. I've lost probably 6 NASCAR races where my guys finish second, or he runs out of fuel, or he hits a wall. I'm done with that sport. I don't know what's happening in that sport.
Yeah, I don't
so
bet
the last
NASCAR either, so I don't really follow NASCAR. It's another sport I don't
The last race, 10 cars got into an accident on the last lap, and it's like, what's happening here? Like, you can't even bet this. And then who won? Blaney? I guess, yeah.
By 2, I had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 16-1, and he lost by 2 1,000ths of a second.
Yeah. And then, like, Jesus. I would have taken the guy who's been racing like shits, Kyle Busch. Like, I think actually, he would win a race, but man, I just feel like I'm throwing my money away because my guys. No, I did hit one. I hit. It was Hamlin.
Yeah,
I think
at the week before Talladega.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I hit Hamlin. Yeah, and I bet live someone else, but Hamlin had the best car the whole race. So.
You know what? Last year we hit 29 out of 37 races, but the big thing this year is they have no practice sessions or qualifying, so you're basically guessing going into the race because you don't have any of the normal data because of the pandemic that you would normally have. So, but we're still up about 20 units on the year in NASCAR. But man, I must have finished second, third, and fourth like 3 consecutive weeks.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, even with the live though, it seems like you have to bet the guy with the best car probably 50 to 75 laps in, because once they know who's the best car, they lower it to like 2 or 3 to 1. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess if you're betting big, that's fine. But if I'm betting $100, I want
right.
6, 7, 8 to 1. I don't want that 3 to 1.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It gives you something else to watch. And soon we'll have baseball, NBA. So we're getting back
Yep.
to normal eventually.
Amen.
Eventually. Well, man, we always appreciate you coming on, Jason. Good luck tomorrow night. I hope we can all cash some tickets, and
Yeah, we'll get Poirier home.
Yep, we'll get Poirier.
Yep.
We'll all talk about it the following week. So appreciate you coming on, man, and best of luck. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from you.
Thank you, boys. I'll see you next week. Always fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank y'all, guys. We appreciate y'all listening to Talking Hands. We'll be back tomorrow night. Come the main card, I think early, about 7.
Yeah, 7 o'clock tomorrow for Pub Sports Radio, Talking Hands on YouTube. And yeah, make sure before you get on, promo code Pub Sports on mybookie.ag, deposit $100, get your 50% deposit bonus. And yeah, that's it. So we will see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one.
Later, guys.